All right. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is correct. We are coming at you in a Mercedes-Benz S-Class from 2001. It's the S430. So a little bit of background information in case you're new here. A S430, it comes with a 4.3 liter V8 that makes around 280 to 300 horsepower. Pretty damn decent, and it is a boat. This is my friend Dom's Mercedes, and so I'll tag him on the video, so you can go follow him on Instagram if you want. He also has an E36 that he'll let me review as well. So if you guys want to see an E36 review, let me know, because we can definitely do that too. It's gonna be, should be pretty damn fun. This thing is as modern as 2001 is going to get. In S-Class, we're in a freaking S-Class. Now obviously 2001 is like 21 years ago, so it's quite a long time ago. It's not the newest of S-Class. It doesn't have the most modern things to it, but let me tell you, I have a 2003 350Z and a 2001, exact same year this was made, PT Cruiser, and right off the bat, I just started driving, obviously. Right off the bat, this car is easily got way more modernness to it than either of those cars. It has all this cool stuff. When you start it up, the steering wheel comes down to the driving position that you have it set at. It goes up when you park it and you turn it off. The steering wheel goes up a little bit. That's just bougie. Next, you have an actual infotainment like screen here. It's not touch screen, but you can turn it with these dials over here, which, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen another car from 2001 that has that. I'm sure I will now that I started doing this series, but as of right now, I don't think I've ever seen a car from 2001 with features like that. Another thing is this thing has room out the ass. This car has so much room, it's actually unbelievable. We are gonna go somewhere and we will stop and talk about the car a little bit, so I can, you know, talk to you about the whole interior and the exterior. You can see the whole car, what it looks like, all that stuff. This one is stock because he's using it as a daily driver, which in my opinion an S-Class should be anyway. I don't think you need to really modify an S-Class. It's an S-Class. It's meant to be bougie. You keep it bougie. It was built this way and it's meant to stay this way, and I like that about it. He kept it this way, and it's just his daily driver. He also has like I said, he has an E36. That's his project car. There's one huge cool factor about this car, and that is it has airbag suspension. It has air ride, baby. I don't think it's actually air ride, but it's got air suspension on it, which is insanely cool. I'll have to ask him when we get there to the spot that we're going to do that for me, so we can see it get a little lower or whatever, and we'll do that. But this thing has freaking air suspension back in 2001 from factory. That's insane. The ride quality, I mean, it's a freaking Mercedes. What do you expect the ride quality to be like? It's comfortable as hell. I gotta give her some more gas. I'm holding up traffic here. I don't want to drive too fast in this car. This is obviously the first review for this channel. I'm probably gonna call it Rodens Reviews. I think that's a pretty good name for it. And so I don't want to really go hard on this guy's car or anything like that. I don't want to go out of my comfort zone just yet. If we ever go on modified cars like that, then obviously that's a different story. But everything about this car, man, is great. He did say a couple things that I don't actually really notice yet, but obviously I don't drive the car all the time, so I won't notice it. And that is, he said that the brakes are touchy and that the power steering is a little stiff. I don't think that's true. In terms of the power steering, it's a little stiff when you're like turning the wheel when it's completely at a dead stop, but not really that bad. And the brakes feel pretty normal. It's a big ass V8 Mercedes that weighs a lot of pounds, and so you would expect the brakes to be a little bit if anything, rough, hard to press on. But that's not the case. Not the case at all. I actually like the brakes a lot. It feels pretty normal. It does feel like you're driving a big ass car, but that's because you are driving a big ass car. Everything in the interior in terms of like ride quality is 110% completely focused on like the driver, which I think is freaking sick, dude. It's all it cares about is keeping that driver comfortable and making him feel like he's a freaking mafia boss, and that's what it does. It's got obviously it's got all this wood grain all around it, which is very 2000s. It's got a tan interior. Once again, it's quite 2000s, a little bit like quote unquote outdated, I guess you could say. The dash is freaking sick. One of the coolest dashboards I've seen in a 2000s car. Like, this thing lights up, all the numbers light up for you. It has once again another display screen and another little display screen right down there that's telling you the temperature outside, and the one in there is telling us that the left turn signal is a little bad, but who cares? Okay, who needs a left turn signal? The space on the inside is huge. I know I've already said that before, but I'm gonna say it again. You could fit a whole 10-foot long dude in the back seat if you had to. The only thing that I can say that I have like a big complaint about is the acceleration. The acceleration feels a little sluggish, if you will, but that makes sense. I mean, it is a freaking heavy ass S-Class Mercedes-Benz that's extremely long, so it would be a heavy car to drive. It would be slow on the accelerations, but you could tell that once it wants to get up to speed, it will get up to speed. It's got a, once again, 4.3 liter V8 in it, which is just amazing. This one is stock. Now, this car did not come with a manual transmission, so obviously it is an automatic. Got stuck at this light again. That sucks. My transmission shifts smoothly, shifts nicely. It is an early 2000s kind of, I guess you could say, slush box transmission, so it's not going to be the best in terms of like shifting quality, but it does pretty good. It is pretty good. Also, AC, nice and cool. This freaking AC is cool AF. I like the AC. It's blowing on me. I don't have AC in either of my cars, so whenever a car does have AC, it just makes me such a happy camper because I never get to experience this nice weather. So this is what we were driving. 2001 Mercedes S-Class S430. It's got deep edge on the front and back. Not me, bro. Kid before me. But it is nice. Now the thing is, like I said, I have a PT Cruiser that's from 2001 and my 350Z is from 2003. This car is huge. It's a long car. It's a yacht driving on the road. It does have a bit of, oh, is there any chance you could do the air suspension? Because I told them about that, but will it not go back up or something?
The issue is, so it's only designed to inflate, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If it sank overnight or something, that's
gotcha.
what the button's for.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't actually lower it at all.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, well, either way, that's pretty cool though. 2001 car that has an air suspension. I was surprised that it had like the digital display there in the middle. Cool. It's surprising, dude. This thing's advanced, especially for its time. This thing, I drove a 2012 Subaru Forester for my work. This thing has more like modernness in it than that car. So it's actually, it is a cool ass car. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to mention, I didn't get to mention it on the drive over here. It absorbs bumps like a dream. It just floats over anything. It's unbelievable. Like, it is such a comfortable, your back will not be sore driving this thing. On the interior, like I said before, it's got the wood grain, the tan interior is nice. Got the Mercedes-Benz floor mats and everything. And it has, oh, another thing that was cool as hell, when you start it, how the steering wheel comes down. Yeah. That's cool. Dude, there's so many little like cool things about this car. But it's got plenty of space. You could be like 10 feet tall and still be able to sit in this thing. The back, same deal with the back. Like, I'm 6'1", I fit perfectly in the seat. I did adjust it a little bit. I fit perfectly in the seat, and look how much room the people in the back would still have. Like, it's crazy. You got a lot of space. It's comfortable as all hell. The seats really like hug you. They're big ass seats too. You could be a big guy if you're a big guy and you need it. Well, there you go. Everything on the inside is like nice and clean too. It is held up. This car is aged nicely. It's got a lot of buttons and dials. I don't know what they're for, but that's Mercedes for you, so that's a different story. And the digital dash lighting up, start up. Starts nice. As we were sitting there, he actually showed me a couple of little more features about the car. A couple of these buttons here that I didn't know what they did before do some pretty cool things. This one right here with the headrest thing, you can press it if those headrests back there are up and they all go down, which is super cool. One of these I can't figure out. I think it's this one here. There's a sun visor in the back for the people that are sitting in the back seat. That'll go up, which is really cool. You can press it again, obviously, to put it down. This car just has such cool this little button here is obviously for the air suspension. Now, so he did say, I'm probably going to include it in the video so you guys will see it anyway, but just to reiterate, the air suspension isn't like what you think of when you think of air suspension in terms of like, oh, you can lower it and raise it whenever you want to. That's not how it is. It's just like, okay, if eventually like the car will just lower itself like just naturally because of just driving on it constantly. And if it does that, you just press the button and it will raise it back up. But now we're going up to a gas station to fill it up with gas, and we're gonna do the quote-unquote performance test. So okay, that was like pedal to the metal right there. And it just, the thing, it isn't the fastest. It is not the fastest. Let's put that out there right now. This car wasn't built to be a race car back in 2001. It was built for those high-class traders that make millions of dollars every day. That's what it was built for. It was an expensive-ass car back then, had all the modern features, but even better, and it was just built perfectly for them back then. It's not built to be a race car, so it isn't a race car, but that's okay. This is almost too good of a daily driver. He did say parts are relatively more expensive than your average 2001 car, but it's actually still cheaper than you would think. He had to replace one of the struts. Well, I guess you would call them struts, but they're an air suspension. So, but he had to replace one, and it only cost him 120 bucks. Which is actually pretty damn cheap. Like, that ain't that bad at all for a air suspension strut from a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Like, you would think it would be a lot more for that, but it wasn't. So parts aren't as expensive as you think. He does say that it guzzles gas. It absolutely drinks through gas, and gas is expensive for this car. He said it cost him around $100 to fill up the tank because it is a 4.3 liter V8 in a big body Mercedes-Benz, so that makes sense. But back there, I just did a pull. I had it floored to literally to the floor, and it wasn't that fast. But I will say that even though it isn't as quick as you would want it to be, it does handle the bumps and everything perfectly. Like, I was giving it the gas there, and every bump that it went over, it was just floating. It was floating across the bumps. He has an E36 up there. We're gonna have to review that soon too. You guys are gonna love that. That E36 is so cool. He has that. Again, that's another car that has a bunch of cool features in it. But this Mercedes, man, it just feels nice. Like, it feels so laid back. Like, this is how I imagine driving a Tesla would feel like. Like, it's just like, you can just like ride comfortably. Like, I could drive this for 10 hours straight. That's the way I look at it. Especially from back when it was built. Imagine being in 2001 and this is the car you were driving. I'm gonna floor it again. That's not bad. We're going uphill there, and it was at 70 miles an hour from like 55 there. So it actually isn't, it has some get up. It's a 4.3 liter V8, but it's just pushing a heavy car. You know, that's the problem with it. It handles corners really nicely. God, I love the corners and the bumps and everything. It just feels so nice. It feels so natural in this car. You go around corners, it just, yeah, wow. It's a nice ass comfy car. But yeah, there's the 2001 Mercedes S430 review. Let me know what cars you guys want to see next. We might be doing that one next. But yeah, I love this thing. I love it.